This is the Bad Reputation Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes on your smartphone or tablet. Featuring the most up-to-date reputation management, social media, and entrepreneurial information on the web. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Todd Collins Official. And now, the host of Bad Reputation, the Reputation Rockstar, Todd Collins. In 3, 2, 1.
Super excited to have Hope Seidel, aka HOPEZILLA, which some people like. Me. Some people are against that name, but I love that name. Hope, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I am super excited because we tried to nail this down a few days ago and it just kept you're so busy.
It's hard to nail anything down.
Right. Yeah. And so to even be able to lock you down for 40 minutes, maybe a little longer for people to kind of hear your story and everything else like that. I'm honored. We used to do Hope and I, when she actually used to work with us, and her and I did a vlog together, a video blog.
That was so much fun.
It was super fun. I was twice the weight back then, but so the camera was a lot wider, but it was fun because we got to do so many cool things. We got to talk, we talked about reputation management, but what we really talked about is, what was happening that day, in our world. And we both sometimes have, contradictory opinions about, our views, but I think there's a common respect there too, from a standpoint of I can see it from your side. You know what? You've changed my opinion on that. And that's something that I respect about you, is that you stand by your opinions.
It was also fun to see different opinions. And that's always the way to learn how to deal with people too, because we talked about social media in the present day and how that affects us in our lives in different ways because of our different opinions.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting, considering the tumultuous tides of social media last year.
Last year it was crazy. So it seems like it's maybe mild out a little bit. Of course, this Roseanne Barr thing's happening.
Oh,
right.
Man.
So I won't get you started.
Don't get me started.
I won't get you started.
No,
we'll leave the politics and the religion and everything else out of that. But let's talk about some of the stuff that you're doing now. So a lot's changed in, I would say, probably the last 6 months for you, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
You were working with us, and I always could feel the entrepreneurial spirit within you. And I knew
was strong with this one.
It was, yeah. The force was strong. And I always knew that there was going to be a day where my little bird was going to leave the nest,
tweet, tweet,
leave her old man behind, and go out and do spectacular things. And it has been so cool to watch, what you've been doing. And I remember you coming to me, and I don't even know if it was maybe I don't know if you really asked me anything. I think it was more of you were just using me as a sounding board. And I just remember just saying, dude, just go and get it. And that's what you did.
Yeah.
So let's touch on the first thing. The one thing that I really, really love following is Be More Babes.
Yeah.
I know that girls strong, women strong, girl power. This is something that, because you're a small package, but dude, you are like a nuclear bomb. With what you do from a power standpoint. So tell me a little bit about Be More Babes.
So like we mentioned, we were talking a lot about what was happening in the social scene about a year ago. And I was very passionate about it. There were a lot of things that I liked, a lot of things that I didn't like. And I saw a hole. I know that me personally, I needed a place to go to vent about misogyny and the patriarchy and Me Too and women in the workplace. And I didn't feel like there was a place to talk about that. I didn't feel like there was an appropriate place to vent because everybody had an opinion and my opinion was sometimes different and whatever. So I wasn't sure if Be More Babes would be a thing. I wanted to be able to talk about current issues and women being strong and empowering other women and being there and being a sounding board and being a networking tool for women to talk about anything that they wanted to talk about, whether it be the full moon or Roseanne Barr or whatever it might be that day. I just wanted somewhere to build a community. So that's what I did. I started the page and I followed all of my friends that I thought might think it was interesting. And it kind of just like slowly turned into this bigger thing. I still don't have a bajillion followers yet, but it's every day I gain more. And every day it's more local women that are sending me messages saying that they love what I'm doing, that they're really glad that there's this place for them to go, that it's inspiring, that, oh man, that was just what I needed to hear today. And those little things just kind of reinforce that I made the right choice.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, because it's funny you talk about like the messages you get from people, because it almost sometimes gets frustrating. You're like, man, my message is not reaching enough people. Or is anybody listening? And when they message you and they tell you that, because some people do that to me too. Like, I'll just put stuff out there, and somebody will message me back and be like, yeah, that was awesome, like that. And I'm like, wow, okay, cool. Well, then I got to keep going.
People want to hear what you have to say. You just have to say it.
Yeah, and so I think that's one of the interesting things is that we and especially about what you're doing is we will talk about what everyone is thinking, but they don't talk about it. And when you give them a platform, even if they don't comment on it, even if they don't engage, they can engage privately with you and let you know, hey, look, what you're saying is resonating with me, and it's important. So,
and even if it just plants that seed for them to eventually come out of their shell to have that conversation, or to eventually be validated in whatever it was that they felt connected to, like even just that alone is awesome.
So is Be More Babes? I know it's got a pretty massive Instagram following. I know that you do some Instagram takeovers, which I'm a huge fan of. I think it's awesome that you give the profile, and that's one of the cool things is that you're not really just taking it on for yourself. You're actually giving the profile to other women that are in business for themselves and letting them contribute to the page, which is I think kind of just resonates from a standpoint of that's really what the page is about. It's about a community.
That's what it's about. I want to build a community. I want to build a place for women to come and feel comfortable and talk about their business and what their business can do for your business and how can we collaborate, and check me out. I'm doing this really cool thing and I think you'd like it. Like, there's moms and girl bosses and all different types of women involved in Be More Babes. And I feel like we had a restaurant takeover. We had an organizing takeover. We had a fitness takeover. We've had a photographer takeover. We've had so many different types of people take over, and I have so many more lined up that I just think it's really awesome because every different person can kind of see what every other person is doing. And I feel like for a really long time, it was almost like cool to bash other women.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like for a long time, chicks were like, oh, I don't have any friends that are girls. And that was like a power move.
Right.
Like, when I was in high school, the girls that hung out with all the guys, they were the cool girls, right? I hate that. Why aren't we empowering each other? Why aren't we helping each other?
Yeah.
And what we're doing is really cool. And I think that we would all really love it if we just took the time to put our guards down and accept that not everybody's a threat. Yeah. So that's kind of what it's about too. Just like equality, empowerment, spreading the word, networking, just all of the things. I want everybody to be successful.
And I feel the exact same way. And you know, I'm a very competitive person.
Me too.
By nature, it's just how it is. But I realized something a long time ago, dude, there is enough out there for everybody.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So there's really no reason to like hold other people back. I've never, you know, that's something I had to teach myself. That was more of a self-awareness thing from a standpoint of like, you know, my goal was to, once I had my target on my competition, then my goal was to crush you out.
Right.
Yeah. You know that. And really what it came down to is that instead of going to that competition and saying, what can we do together to make something better?
Absolutely.
You know, and that's something that I've learned as I've grown older, even in the last 5 years, you know, that's something that I've learned. So I know your major foothold is on Instagram. Is Be More Babes? Is it anywhere else? Have you cast that wide net yet? Or you just is Instagram the platform?
Personally,
because I know it seems to me like Instagram's your favorite platform.
Yeah, right? I was just gonna say Instagram is my favorite platform. I feel like you get the most interaction, you get the most insights, you get the most genuine conversations on Instagram. I feel like Facebook has kind of evolved into this business place where you go and you want to learn about what happens with your family or what the special is at your favorite restaurant. Right. And that's just kind of what Facebook is now.
More of awareness.
Yeah, I feel like right now Be More Babes is going to stay on Instagram. Okay. I'm working on building a website for myself, which will incorporate the Be More Babes blog. There will be a section on my website dedicated to Be More Babes. And I hope to do some write-ups about some cool stuff. Like there was a woman on Be More Babes who said that she's leaving her job on the East Coast. She's been so successful. She's leaving behind relationships and houses and all of these things to go be successful on the West Coast. And she said that Be More Babes was just like really influential for her and helping her do that. So I'm going to have her write a piece that'll probably be on there. I just, things that are relatable, things that will maybe inspire you, maybe a healthy recipe or two, because I like the bunny food, but
yeah, because that's the thing is you've got Be More Babes, but like you also kind of are a personal brand, within yourself. Like, I obviously, you and I talk on Instagram all the time like that. And it's funny because Instagram's, I would say, my favorite platform, but we interact on Instagram when we could we have each other's phone number.
Right.
We could text each other.
It's just easier because when you're on there, you see it, you think about it. Why would you go to a different app when you're right there?
Right. And so we communicate via Instagram, and your personal Instagram is really interesting too. You know what I mean? So like, and even within your stories, and I did a shot call probably, I don't know, it's probably like 2-3 months ago where I'm pretty much dead set on the fact that stories is going to replace feeds in Facebook and Instagram. I truly believe that because I feel like more people interact within stories than they do within the news feed. But I watch your news feeds all the time, and they're great because they're they vary from interest, right? So you may be talking about what you're doing in business that day, and you're kind of taking people through your day, which I really like that. I enjoy that take me through your day kind of thing. But then towards the evening, it seems like maybe when Josh gets home or whatever, then you kind of incorporate Josh as the comedic character in your story, right? You always catch him off guard. And then you talk about, hey, this is what I'm making this meal, and this is how you do it. And then you run through it. So there's all these cool little different things that you can learn from your profile. And those are the profiles that I find the most interesting, that it's not focused on just one niche. It's all these multiple things. Basically, you're taking what you're passionate about and you're consolidating it into one profile. And anybody that's interested in any of those variables can follow you, right?
Exactly.
And they might even learn something new.
Right.
So
I'm going to try this new thing where I post a healthy recipe once a week.
Yeah.
Like if you follow me, you see that I'm constantly making juices or smoothies or bowls or 3-ingredient, gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, blah, 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 whatever. And I get a lot of messages about it whenever I do it. So I've just decided that I'm going to embrace it and kind of put myself out there and see how it goes. So I am going to incorporate that. And I didn't plan on myself becoming a blog. I didn't plan on myself becoming whatever it is, an entrepreneur, business owner, none of these things. If you would have asked me 5 years ago what I was going to be doing, I would have had no idea this was it.
Right.
But it's really cool because here we are. And I just want to be able to kind of showcase I'm a person, I'm a human being, I'm living life every day. I try to just be positive and healthy and successful. And I want to share that with as many people as I can.
So what is it like? This is kind of before I even get to the other point, what is it like being a business owner now? Because you now own, I don't even know if it's part, but I know you manage, but I know you own Smoke.
Yeah.
Which is,
I'm a partner in Smoke with Josh.
With Josh,
who is my partner in life.
So Josh was on the Food Network. Josh is a big deal.
He is.
You're now a big deal from a standpoint of, if you guys have not followed Instagram, followed Smoke on Instagram, I implore you to do it because it is so entertaining.
At Hickory Smoked Goodness.
There you go. Plug. But Smoke was highlighted on the Food Network years ago. I literally got to watch it birth, and literally the first location was right. I could throw a rock at it from our office, and I got to watch it. I think I was one of the first people to walk in and buy something.
I think you were.
I know. And I've been a huge supporter of it because I truly believe it is such a cool brand. But what is it like now being a part and owning your own business and dealing with the day-to-day business stuff?
Nobody cares as much as I do.
Yeah. And see, here's the thing, guys. I tried to relate. I tried to explain this to my young child, a couple years ago, and she's a little punk rock, and so am I. But in the reality, sometimes you don't get it
You
until
don't
you
get it
sit
until
in
you
the
do
boss's
it.
seat.
No, absolutely. You have to just. You and I are similar in the sense. Oh, sorry,
Okay.
Mike hit. I'm
Okay.
clumsy. We're similar in the sense that like you have to just learn the hard way.
Mhm.
I'm a very stubborn person. I have to learn everything the hard way. And even Josh and I have been together for a long time, but before I was a partner in smoke, he would come home and he would be so concerned about this or that or this or that. And whether it was whatever it was, and I would be worried and I would be consoling, but like I didn't
But
get
you
it.
couldn't
You know
do
what
something
I mean? Like,
about
I didn't understand completely. There was nothing that I could do, so I was more of just a support role for about a year and a half. And now nobody cares as much as we do. I love smoke so much.
Yep.
Like it's my number one passion.
Yep.
There's nothing that I wouldn't do for it. I have left my apartment at 11 o'clock at night on a Tuesday to go make sure that the smoker's turned off so
That's
that
right.
way we can go to sleep.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's hard and it's challenging and I learn something new every day, but it's the most rewarding, amazing experience that I've had in life so far.
Let me ask you a question. What is it like working with your spouse every day?
It's awesome because we don't work next to each other. Like I am in the office or I am at home at my home office and he's at the shop every day. So we're not like on top of each other. We're not whatever. We have a code word for work. So at night when we're at home and one of us is just like ready to shut off, we say no more tuna fish sandwiches. And we stop talking about work and then it's just him and I and we just, or if it's 11 o'clock at night and I think of something and I'm like, oh shit, I don't want to stress him out, but I just thought of this thing that we forgot about. I'll be like, I know that you don't want to talk about tuna fish sandwiches, but real quick, I just need you to be on this page with me. And it works really well.
Wow.
It works really well. We don't let it consume us. We don't let it be our whole entire lives, even though it kind of is.
Yeah.
We try to make sure that we make time for just us.
We should title this episode "No More Tuna Fish Sandwiches," and I think I actually might because that is a great tidbit for any couples out there that work together or even that they don't work together and they're home, because I know for me it's very difficult for me to turn, it's very difficult for me to turn the business off. I really can't do it.
Josh has a hard time with it too.
And I mean I think all successful people that are very passionate about what they do, I think it's very difficult for them to turn it off.
Absolutely. It's also very important to turn it off though, because if you don't turn it off then you let it consume you and you don't sleep and you drive yourself crazy and it's just not healthy that way. So this way it gives you a chance to unwind. It gives you a chance to relax. It gives you a chance to have fun a little bit for the day.
So the other thing is you guys take one day off a week, right?
Yes.
That you just spend together.
Yes, every week. Monday, it doesn't matter what is happening, whether we have to come to smoke or go to Home Depot or even if it's going to the MVA, like Mondays are our days. We don't do anything else but hang out with each other on Monday, no matter what.
Do you think that is a component to the success of your relationship together?
I mean, absolutely. You have to make time for each other. You have to make time for one another. You have to be on the same page. So I think that we're both really on the same page with what we need from each other and what we expect from each other. And it's just, I don't know. I love it. I
think it's awesome. So these are all great tidbits for people that are couples. Tell me a little bit about Smoke. So we know that Smoke kind of birthed from Josh, right?
Yes, it's all Josh.
It's all Josh.
Yes,
it's all Josh.
Yeah.
We know that. And then he was on was it Restaurant Startup, right, on the Food Network. He was on there. He didn't win, right? Which is hilarious.
I haven't
because he should. I saw the episode and he should have won.
We all know that.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But then
they set those things up for the record.
But then the guy goes anyway. Like, I mean, it just fits his personality. Just screw it, I'm doing it anyway. Opens it up.
Can I say that?
But yeah. You can, this is an explicit fucking podcast, so you can cuss all you want.
Yeah.
That does it anyway. Launches the location and then opens a second location once you inject yourself into the business, which really kind of energized the business. It seemed like to me, it like took it up like another notch. And so now you guys have a second location. Is there a third location?
I mean, we want to take over the world.
Okay, that's what So
yes,
is there? Okay,
eventually.
That's what I was thinking, because if you guys haven't eaten at Smoke, and I'm not using this from a standpoint to blow her up, but if you guys haven't eaten at Smoke, it's a very artistic, in my eyes. It is taking barbecue and it is putting it into a completely different level, and it's become very artistic, and it's almost like you can see Josh in the kind of person that he is as the food. It's very interesting. And so we talked about a couple of sandwiches that are the favorite. Yours is the boss dog, which is like, it's kind of like it's like the superhero.
Sandwich.
It's a signature
like
sandwich.
The one, you know? It's got all the things.
Now now the one I'm a fan of, which if it's a cheat day for me, which are few and far between, it is what it is. The Pig Mac.
It's a feature.
The feature sandwich, which it's not always out, right? No, is that right? So you have to wait until you basically have to follow you on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is, and wait for it to just appear.
Absolutely.
And then you got to come get it. Yep. This thing is based on an outline of the Big Mac, but is something completely different.
Absolutely, it's something completely different.
Can you please explain? And then we'll get into the business stuff. But explain to me what the Pig Mac is. Describe it, if you will.
So the Pig Mac is...
Be detailed.
It's chicken fried mac and cheese patties that are like an inch thick.
I'm closing my eyes.
Smacked in between 2 piles of smoked pork. That's just like Baltimore's best pork.
Real smoke with the line around it.
It's so perfect.
Keep going.
Yeah. So then on top of that, you'll find Josh's Killer Bacon, which is just ridiculous, with Pig Mac sauce. So it's kind of like Big Mac sauce, but it's Pig Mac sauce. And then we use local Cunningham's rolls that are lightly toasted and buttery.
Look at you shouting out Cunningham's. Love it. The mac and cheese to me is interesting.
It's ridiculous.
The mac and cheese is unbelievable. Anytime that I ever went and got sides, I would always get the mac and cheese.
What you have to do.
But then you put it on a freaking sandwich.
Oh yeah, we went there. We did that.
If you're going to go to Smoke, make sure that you follow them, because if the Pig Mac makes an appearance, and we never know when it's going to make its appearance.
I'll give you a pro tip. It's usually on Saturday.
Okay, there you go. Saturdays is when you can get the Pig Mac. So just get it on Saturdays. But the Boss Dog, if you don't know where to start, when you go into Smoke, if you've never been there before, start with the Boss Dog and then work your way down the menu. And that's really what you should be doing with this type of restaurant. You should be getting in there and trying everything. Don't just focus on that one sandwich. Really try everything, because you're going to find that Josh's designs. And that's really, I look at it.
American barbecue.
Yeah, I really look at it from the guy's an artist. I mean, he's designing cuisine. Absolutely. He's not really truly making this. He's designing it, and that's what I find interesting. So enough of us massaging Josh's ego. I do. And his shirt that he wore out for the day. I got to find out where that shirt, because I really love that shirt, and actually commented, and I think he gave me a nice little heart emoji during that comment.
So, he doesn't want you to know where it's from because it's still available.
If I know him,
you know me.
Yeah, you got that shirt for him, I bet.
I did.
And it might is it Nordstrom? God, I knew it. God, I'm good.
God, I am predictable.
Now I'm gonna go buy the shirt, and I'm gonna take a picture and send it to. No, I'm just joking.
Twins.
I know, twins. So, okay, good. So, real quick, get into the reputation management side of it, because we have to talk about reputation management. You used to protect restaurants when you worked for us. You did a great job of it. You successfully got reviews removed with while we were working together. Now you're on the other side. So you went from protecting restaurants against negative reviews and this malicious slander that people can then put on about restaurants. You're now on the other side. You're the owner. You're now behind it. How has your opinion or your view changed? Is it still pretty much the same, or what's your?
It's much harder to be level when it's your business and you care, and you know all the things that are in and out, and you hear a complaint and you just like want to call and like scream at somebody.
Right.
But you can't do that. So it's definitely been interesting. We don't get a lot of bad reviews, which is really lucky.
You don't. I agree.
No, yeah. It's very few and far between. And to be completely honest, we're so open on social media, and people feel like they can really reach out to us. So 9 times out of 10, it doesn't end up on a platform, on a review
They'll
site.
Message you privately.
They'll message us privately. Yeah. Like I get personal text messages. Josh gets personal text messages. Very few and far between. But when it does happen, you know what I mean? Like, we have friends at quality control too that come in all the time, and they'll let us know like, hey, everything was really awesome, or hey, this sandwich could have been a little bit, whatever. But you know what I mean? I would much prefer that than have it be on Yelp. But on Yelp, it's always best to kill them with kindness. I always try to smooth out whatever the issue was. When I was working here, it was always just kill them with kindness. Like, you know, no matter what the issue is, whether you have to reach out to somebody at the business or message the person personally, you know, it's people like to be acknowledged at the end of the day. So like, as long as you acknowledge someone and kind of validate what their woe is, usually that will solve the issue. I will admit that I have replaced things for people. I will kind of try to make it better for somebody if it goes to that extent. I also help a couple of our friends with their social media. So if anything ever happens with them with a complaint, I always try to take care of it.
Yeah, and so like you know the formula to be able to solve these issues that occur. And so because I always found it interesting. It was like you were going to the other side basically, but having the knowledge of how to handle these situations, I feel like that's really super valuable.
Absolutely, right? It's like beyond valuable.
And you've probably been able to educate some of these other people, right?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Which is cool. And so you know I wanted to hear that. I wanted to hear your opinion. We didn't even talk about that beforehand. I wanted to hear your real, true, honest opinion about that because I don't think I've really met anybody that's gone from the reputation management side for businesses and then gone and done their own business B2C and then had to deal with it. And so it was kind of cool to see that. So
the biggest thing I would say is it's just hard to remain in the middle when you hear something that's negative.
So like I used to tell you, right? Their emotional heartstruings get pulled on, which is how that's what happens.
Where you enter. You know what I mean?
And then, you know, the first thing you got to do is you have to
validate them.
Well, but you have to go to Josh and calm Josh down, right? Probably have to calm him down a little bit if he doesn't even see it, right?
No.
Smart.
No.
And then you handle the situation, right? But I mean, that's one of the other things is that what we always found and what I thought was interesting is that most people don't respond to their reviews. And I never understood not responding to the positive ones. I never understood somebody leaving a good review for you and then
sometimes it
not
gets
validating
mundane.
it.
Like if you sit there and there's 100, oh my God, dinner was so amazing.
Yeah.
How many different ways, different times can you say thank you?
Yeah.
Like,
that's
you know
a good
what
point.
I mean? Because there really are only so many ways.
Yeah.
And there really are only so many compliments.
Yeah.
So as an outsider looking at that, if all of them just say thank you, it's like
I don't like
it's
that.
Nothing. I would rather, like for instance, I will just love sometimes.
I like
what
that.
They say. I won't necessarily respond, but I will react, which is it gives them a notification so that it's not like liking and leaving it.
You're letting them know that you saw it.
You're letting them know that you saw it. You loved it. It was awesome. It meant something to you, but you're not blowing smoke up their ass by saying, "Oh my God, thank you so much. I can't wait to see you next time." Oh my God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's more genuine sometimes. Not to say that you shouldn't respond.
Right.
Because there are times and places for responses.
You're still interacting though, regardless. You're engaging.
Yeah.
John Mendakis and I were talking. John owns Jimmy's Famous Seafood. We were talking and we thought it would be really cool to just start responding to reviews with just emojis.
That's cool.
Like if they leave a negative review, you leave a poop emoji.
Okay, so that's
probably not the best way to do it. It was just us kind of messing around.
But
I
left a poop emoji for my negative review.
Then you would
I
start
would
commenting.
Be so mad.
I know. But we were thinking about that because it's as we continue to and I talk about the 10-year-old plan, right? I was talking about the 10-year-old plan the other day. As the 20-year-olds become 30-year-olds in the next 10 years, you need to evolve your business. I truly believe that we will really start communicating via emoji more than text.
Well, we kind of already do. And I read an article earlier this week that said that we can expect that GIFs are going to take over our Instagram feed. I mean, they already are in our stories. So I'm just waiting. Like the other day I saw one incorporated into an Instagram post. Like it was just a picture, but somebody put the GIF on it and then saved it and then uploaded that. It was really cool because it was a picture, but it was moving and it wasn't too much. It was like just enough. So I'm inspired. I'm going to check it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's GIFs like kind of evolving. So I would say that I would be more apt to accepting a GIF response.
Yes. We were devastated.
Oh,
Remember?
So sad.
So we were both, so Hope and I were super excited that Instagram had started to bring in GIFs, GIFs, whatever you want to call them.
I was gonna ask you.
It's whatever. I don't think it
care.
matters.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And they had brought it into Instagram. Immediately I told Hope, or whatever. I think we just both told her, like, oh my God, did you see this?
God, what happened?
Yeah. And so we did it, and then we started using it, and we were crushing it. And then all of a sudden, next day it was gone. And we thought, right, they took it away because of the situation.
Someone made a racist GIF because Jiffy, GIPHY, is a public platform that anyone can upload GIFs to. And they had to shut it down in order to figure out a way to moderate what is uploaded to their platform because racist pricks suck.
Yeah, so and it looks like they fixed the situation.
So now they have a filter to figure out what, or I guess to just filtrate like what goes on their platform. So it's exciting. It came back. I'm so excited.
Because whenever I post stuff about you, I always use the Godzilla emoji or a GIF or GIF. Whatever, because the HOPEZILLA thing. I'm a gigantic fan of that, and we were just talking about some stuff, and I've always thought that your logo should be like a Godzilla body with your face on it, in cartoon form. Again, you're a powerful woman who enjoys winning, and that is something that to me is lacking and or rare nowadays. Even in guys, is lacking or rare. I mean, it's just not something you see anymore. Yeah, and you can say that, right? Like, well, but I mean,
I am a millennial.
You're a millennial.
I can say that.
And so, see, and I was talking about this the other day too. A lot of people shit on that millennial generation.
I think it's 50-50.
I do too, and here's the reason why. Because a lot of people shit on my generation, and there were some good people to come out of that. And so I think it's more of a people situation where it's just like, when you're young, you don't know. So, and you really don't realize maybe sometimes, what your passion is. I think these kids are very intelligent. I think they're very smart, and they're very opinionated from the standpoint of they know what they want
and what they don't want,
and they're not going to compromise to that, and that's okay. And so, like,
I think that with millennials, it's really interesting because there's so many of them that are so successful and intelligent and hustle based and all of those things, and there's equal amounts of millennials that you see that do still live at home with their parents and blah blah blah. And I think that it's 50-50 your generation babying these millennials to believe that they don't have to work. I work hard so you don't have to, and that was kind of your mentality. Your parents worked hard so that way you could have everything. You want to work hard so your kids have everything, and in a way that kind of can spoil someone, I guess. In the same vein, it can inspire people who have hardworking parents like you say that's your why. You work hard to inspire your kids. So that'll probably work out differently for you because you don't hand it to them. You show them you show them the hustle, you show them the work, you tell them what
I make them work. You know that.
But at the same time, you also are giving them things that you didn't have when you were a kid. And
100%.
so I think that's like the line with the millennials kind of, and from your generation, like where the split happens. You know what I mean? So don't give all of them a bad name.
I know, and I agree with that. I agree. You know what I mean? Like, I put my arms around the ones that I feel are out there busting their ass and kicking ass and taking names. And
there's a lot.
There is. And I put my arms around those, and I want them to, I want to push them up, because eventually I'm going to have to ask them for a job.
It's our generation that's changing the world right now. And eventually
I'm going to be a dinosaur, and I'm going to have to go to one of these kids and be like, I need a job.
So don't shit on them too much, TC.
I had a really good podcast a long time ago. What the hell is that?
What's a podcast?
Right. So, how do you, let me get into this actually first. Give me some, because you're really good at social media. Like, I've always thought, and with social media, I feel like social media is fingerprinted like a human. I can tell when someone changes something. It's really interesting. And I'm going to post something actually today. You're going to see a fingerprint post for me. And it really is true, because social media is like a fingerprint. You can tell everyone has a different way of doing it. I can see some difference in smoke.
Like, you can tell when it's me and when it's Josh.
Right. However, we need to give these people some tips and tricks.
Okay.
Now, I got some. I want to know some of yours to help maybe some of the younger listeners that are on there that are trying to go out and do the same things that you're doing right now, or even some of the older listeners that are listening that are trying to change it up, do something different within their social media platforms. Give me give me 3 tips and I know Instagram's your platform, so we can stick to Instagram if you want.
Sure.
Give me 3 Instagram tips that work well for you.
So the first thing I would say would be consistency.
Okay.
Like people, you can't consistency.
I'm putting you on the spot, but it is
no,
what
that's
it is.
okay. So when you look at my page, everything in some sort of kind of roundabout way ties into my business. So whether that's the filter that I use, because there's 2 filters that I use, and if you look at my page, it's all pretty much consistent.
Right.
When you come to my page, you kind of know what it's going to look like. You know what it's going to feel like. You know what it's going to tie into.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of know what to expect. And that's kind of what people are looking for. They want it to be different, but they want to know what to expect from you.
Okay.
So be consistent. Like if you're going to post just food pics, that's probably what people are going to expect from you.
Sure.
You know what I mean? For example, Josh has a lot of followers on his personal page. When he posts pictures that aren't of food, that's not really what people want to see. So he doesn't get 500 likes like he usually does.
Yep.
Same thing for me. When I post something that is about my cat, I get less likes than I do when it's something that's motivational or business driven or health related.
Right.
So just stay consistent. I'm not saying don't change your filter. I'm not saying don't post anything different. I'm just saying just,
stay consistent.
Have a vibe.
Right.
Have a vibe, have a feel, be consistent.
Okay, I like that one too.
Hashtags are so important.
Love it. On Instagram and Twitter.
On Instagram and Twitter.
What's your take on hashtags on Facebook?
I think they're stupid.
Okay, thank you. And that's all I needed to hear. I don't need to know the reason, but keep going. So hashtags important, Twitter.
Have you ever clicked on a hashtag on Twitter?
No. Or you mean on Facebook?
Or on Facebook.
No, but I still see it and it drives me nuts.
That's my end of case.
Yeah, got it.
Anyway, so 2 hashtags are so important. Find out what your local hashtags are that are really pertinent to you. So whether that's like typing in smoke 100 different times with 100 different words in it in the Instagram search key, and looking at the number, because it tells you if you type in hashtag Todd Collins, it'll tell you how many times hashtag Todd Collins has been used. So find out what those most used hashtags are, because those are probably the ones that people are looking at the most, and try to incorporate those into your regular. I have a couple notes on my phone of different hashtags for different things. Like I have like a health food set of 30 hashtags. I have a girl boss set of 30 hashtags. Now, do you save
those hashtags and then copy and paste them? Because this is what I do, and this is not to interject with you, but I have so I'll take hashtags that I find and I'll add them in my notes on my phone, right?
Yeah, I have.
And then I'll go back when I post
and
copy it and paste it, because a lot of people will literally just type out their hashtags. Guys,
no, that's such a pain in the ass. Make a note, copy and paste it. That's the easiest.
Put it in your notes and then copy and paste it.
Put it in your notes and copy and paste it. That way, it's consistent, and you don't have to be like, oh shit, I forgot hashtag visit be more.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Pro tip. You know what I mean? I always hashtag.
Oh, I'm adding that one in. Thank you.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it. So here, that was tip 2. Use your hashtags. So consistency, hashtags in Instagram and Twitter. Make sure that you're building out, finding the ones that are relevant to your business or relevant to the people that are following you, or who you want to be seen by, and use those hashtags. And then number 3 tip, social media tip.
Take advantage of the stories. If you're not taking advantage of the stories, you're not taking advantage of the platform. I think that we discussed last year about how we thought the video was going to take over social media.
And we were right.
And we were right, but in a different way.
Yes.
Like we initially thought the video was going to be like the main thing that you posted on your feed and you had it in your Instagram, blah, blah, blah. If I see a video on my feed, it better be hilarious or I don't want to watch it.
Right.
But same thing, if I look at my stories, like I want to see those videos. I want to see what you're doing. I want to see like something cool or something funny or whatever it is. Like I love the video on the stories. It makes it more personable. It makes it easier to connect. And like Instagram's weird because like you meet people and you know people and you connect with people that you maybe don't know. So you feel like you know them.
Yes.
Like you build a relationship with people. Like I had a meeting with a friend who works at a dermatology place, and she asked me for some social media tips. And we hadn't seen each other in years.
Right.
We're more acquaintances, I would say. And she was like, I feel like I know you. Like, I feel like I know so much about your life. I know what kind of car you drive. I know where you live. Not in like a creepy way, but she was like, I just feel like I know so much about you. Like, I feel so comfortable sitting here face to face talking with you, even just based off of Instagram, because I feel like I know you so well.
So from that standpoint, that would take me back to the question. So you said, obviously stories are important. So start posting in your stories. Do you spend more time in stories than you do in the news feed?
Like define more
So do
time.
you?
I spend all
when
my
you?
time
Yeah, I
there.
know. No, I know. And because I know Instagram's your platform, do you, when you're inside Instagram, do you spend more time in Instagram stories and falling down that Instagram story hole than you do going through the
No.
actual news feed?
No, I would say it's 50-50.
Okay.
50-50. I would say, yeah. Because sometimes I pop on my phone and I don't feel like looking through my feed, and I'll watch 4 or 5 stories and be done. And sometimes I'm like,
okay,
with stories, and all I want to do is just scroll through the feed.
Here's the follow-up question to that. Do you post more in your stories than you do on your Instagram feed?
If I posted as much on my Instagram feed as I do on my stories, people would unfollow me.
So right. So you definitely your stories more.
No, for
right.
sure. Yeah. I try to post once a day on my feed. I feel like once a day is a really good number. If you're doing something cool, if it's something fun, if it's something different, if it's something that's like, you could post twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't post any more than twice a day, and only if it was something worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's a lie. I saw like a couple weeks ago that Beyonce posted 3 pictures in a row, and I was like, oh shit, if Beyonce is doing it, I'm gonna do it too.
Right.
So I posted 3 pictures, and then she didn't do it again. So
I love that though. I love that you're looking at people and watching what they're doing, and then you know that they're successful, and then you're following in suit what they do. So you say 2, I say post as much as you fucking want. If you feel it's relevant and you want to tell people about it, you should post as much as you want. I don't know if there's necessarily a correct number, but that's just my opinion, right? I spend a lot of time in stories. I enjoy watching Holly's stories.
Yeah,
I enjoy Holly. Holly's another one. Eventually we should have her on too.
At maybe Holly V. Murphy.
Yeah, there you go. We should probably have you and Holly together, but that would be super fun.
Yeah.
But her stories, she puts a lot of time into her stories.
Yeah, she's taught me a lot about how to use stories.
Yeah.
If you're not utilizing Photoshop and outside sources into your stories, then you're like late.
Yeah, you're way late.
Yeah.
So here's a tidbit that I would love to give people. I know you already know this, is do not, under any circumstances, sleep on Pinterest.
Oh, I love Pinterest.
Pinterest, GIF, whatever you want to say.
Are you Pinterested?
I am. I'm probably one of the only guys that does.
That's not true. Josh has a Pinterest.
I think it is an amazing platform, and it's got great content that you can use within your stories that can create engagement.
Absolutely.
Holly taught me that.
Yeah.
Where you're creating engagement by either talking about yourself and giving people information about yourself, and then in turn asking them questions, which is why I like polls and stories.
Love polls.
But I find this very interesting because I think I clicked incorrectly on your poll one time, and I actually sent you a message, was like, dude, sorry, I meant to click the cat's cute, not cute, but whatever it was.
Can I add another tip? Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
I don't ever give people a negative option on polls. Like I don't give them an option to say that they don't like something, or most of the time, like I want it to be positive always. Like I always want to have positivity drawn towards my story. So like I posted something about soft shell crabs last week, and I was like, OMG, 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 or smoked soft shell crabs, FTW, fuck the world. You know what I mean? Like I didn't give them an option to say that they didn't like soft shell crabs or no or or anything like that. Like positive only because it's the best. And
that's an interesting.
You want people to know it's the best, so don't let them think that there's even the slightest possibility that it's not.
Love that. What I find interesting is sometimes when you put up polls, the people see the story, but then they don't vote. Why is that?
I think that some people like to be ghost users. I think that some people just don't give a fuck.
Do they realize that they're not ghosted because you can see them in their stories?
I don't know if everybody knows that.
Because I tell people that I can see them not voting, and that drives me bananas.
I had an employee. I posted something about how we're going to stay open later. And I had an employee vote that he like wasn't super stoked about it. And I'm like, bruh, you know, I can see that, right?
You moron.
Like you're closing line cook for the rest of the week.
Busted. Okay. So let me ask you a question. We'll end with a couple other things talking about you, but I want to talk about just because I'm getting a lot of this from a lot of people right now. So how did I support you?
I mean, this was my like launch pad.
I'm just curious.
Like I had always worked in marketing and social media before here, but here was where I feel like I really got comfortable and like flourished. Like I felt like I was surrounded by a bunch of creative people who I could bounce ideas off of and learn things from. And like Holly we talked about,
Yep.
and you and your wife Nikki, and who else was here? And Todd, and who else? I can't even think of anyone else.
Well, I mean,
But it doesn't matter.
there's
But
the
it
people
was
that
really,
impacted you.
it was important people that impacted me, and Adam, and everybody. Just it was so nice to get to be able to work with a photographer and a blogger and a tech person, and just so many different people that had so many different expertise in so many different things.
Mhm.
And I just feel like I like sponged it all up.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to learn it all, and I did, and it was just so exciting. Like I fell in love with social media.
Yeah.
Like I can honestly say that, like, I don't know, this was my launch pad for sure. It definitely was.
I love hearing
inspiring to
that.
be.
That makes me happy. And what I love from it is being able to watch you and Holly and some other people that have ventured out on their own. Eric, perfect example. And to watch you guys flourish and become successful, that to me is super. That inspires me.
It means you're
to
doing
continue.
something right too.
Exactly. Or maybe I just picked the right people and I gave them a place to hone their skills, and then to watch them succeed. It to me is the super. It's
If
just
you want
super
to be
exciting.
a successful blogger in Baltimore, come work for Restaurant Reputation.
Blogger, social media marketer, whatever it is. And actually, I'm not accepting applications any longer. I don't think I can beat my team.
That's
Either
awesome.
the people that we had, we all still work together in some form or another, but it's just interesting. So give me the accounts that people can follow you on. Name those off.
So you can follow, we already said, at Hickory Smoke Goodness. That's going to be Josh and all of the food things. My personal page is at HOPEZILLA with 3 L's because I'm different, not basic.
And that's not going to change. That's not going to change, right?
No, that's not going to change.
Good.
I thought about it and I toyed with it, but I think I'm going to leave it as it stands. And then you can follow at BeMore.Babes. That's going to be like the motivational female empowerment platform for women entrepreneurs and business owners and all of the different types of women in Baltimore to connect and network.
I highly recommend that you follow that page. You guys will meet some very interesting people on that. Your website's launching soon. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's not available yet.
It's not available.
Can you tell us what the site is or what it will be named? So because other people that hear this podcast, it'll probably be done.
Honestly, like I've had so many different ideas. I can't decide. Like,
is it possible HOPEZILLA.com is available?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, I'm going to go to GoDaddy and buy it and then sell it. I won't do that.
Sell it to me for $1.
$1.
$1.
$80,000. That's from Smoking the
I was gonna
Bandit.
buy Simply Social Hope, I think.
I like that.
But it was like $2,000. I was like, F
that's
you,
insane.
GoDaddy.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I guess because my name is like pretty popular.
We'll be able, so follow Hope on her Instagram pages, her social media pages, and I'm sure she's going to post a link up to her website. I know that I think it's going to be very interesting because it's going to touch on so many different aspects of your personality, from being a businesswoman to your passion for social media, to your passion for food, to your passion for health, and just all these different things. Hope, thank you.
Thank you
for coming
so
on the podcast. My assumption is that Hope will probably have her own podcast after listening to this, because I know how she is. She will listen to this and she will love it and go, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I can tell you, if she does do it.
Will you rent me your studio?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. And I would hope that you would have me on your show, because,
of course.
But I think that would be even more awe-inspiring is to widen that net of Be More Babes and create that Be More Babes podcast where you have those women on to talk about their businesses. I think that would be.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah, I have good ideas sometimes, but Hope, thank you so much for coming on the show. I greatly appreciate it. Congrats on all the success you've had. I know that it is not over. I know that the Food Network has already been back in touch with you guys. I'm sure that I know that there were just articles about you in Baltimore Magazine and all these other things. So I know that the Smoke Voyage is just beginning, but I also know that the HOPEZILLA Conquer the World is just beginning too, and it's going to be an interesting ride to watch.
I'm gonna take that shit over, Todd.
I know, great.
Thanks for having me.
All right, see you, buddy.
This has been a Todd Collins official production in conjunction with Platinum Reputations. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Todd Collins Official, or visit us at www.toddcollinsofficial.com. Want to be on the show or become a sponsor? Message us on Facebook and tell us why.